Hello, I'm Julia Cordova. Thank you so much for subscribing to my YouTube channel and liking my videos. I super appreciate it. So last week we got the market pullback that I was looking for based on the bearish RSI divergence that we saw in both the ES or SPX weekly futures chart as well as in the NASDAQ weekly futures chart. However, I did not get the bullish continuance that I was looking for in both gold and silver. They both closed the week down. So for this week, what I am looking for is I am looking for a little bit more volatility in the indices than what we saw last week. I'm looking for potentially not just a straight up or down week, but some chop along the way. So I'll talk about the various levels that I'm watching in all of the charts, and I will tell you what my plan is when we get to those charts. But I am still looking for some strength in terms of gold and silver compared to the indices. So I think I tweeted about that on Thursday, and then Friday, ES or SPX futures closed down almost 0.5%, whereas gold closed up almost 0.5%, and NASDAQ closed down about 1%, whereas silver closed up about 1%. So was that a switch that got flipped on Friday and from now on that's going to be the norm? I don't know. I don't think so. Usually when we're looking for relative strength of something versus something else, it's not just one day and then it's there. It's sort of like you'll notice it on a sort of a day-by-day kind of basis. But that was an example. Friday was a perfect example of what I'm looking for moving forward. And the reason I'm looking for that moving forward is because, as you know, if you've been watching, I believe in the bigger bullishness of gold and silver in 2022. And so I think that when we see that relative strength like that, like we saw on Friday, when we see more and more of that, that's going to just tell me that I'm not completely wrong about that. And maybe I am, but that's what I'm looking for moving forward. And I'm hoping to see more of that this week. Phew. So with that said, let's talk charts. You ready? All right. So first of all, just because I had this up from last week, I thought I would show it again. So this is the yearly chart of ES or SPX futures. It's, I've got it set to 12 months so far, but what's crazy is we've only been trading for 5 trading days, and look at that. That's pretty significant, right? This is the whole year last year. This is 5 trading days so far. Interesting, right? I think so. This is the monthly chart here, and you can see, I get to move this a little bit. You can see that we are just way far above this 9 MA. Then, we're above the 20, we're above the 9. This is super bullish. So would a back test of the 9 or potentially even the 20 be bearish overall, big picture? Nope, no, it would not. So, oops, shouldn't have moved that because we're on the month. Hello. Anyway, if we do in January test, sort of back test this 9 MA, I'd expect it to go all the way down to this 4,400-ish level, just based on this divergence that we saw. Okay, in the monthly, it's in the weekly, it's everywhere. So anyway, just this test here would scare a lot of people and potentially be a great place to buy if it gets all the way back there. Now let's look at the normal charts we're looking at. So this is the weekly chart. As bearish as last week felt, we sort of did a little bit of a save on Friday because we managed to close above the 9 MA on a weekly basis. So it's still bullish as long as, short term, as long as we're above 46.24 or so. But if it gets much below that this week, I would expect it to want to test this 20 MA. And I don't know the exact value of the 20 MA because they sort of recalculate on the fly. So I'm not going to know until futures opens this week, which is very soon because I got off to a late start. But anyway, below this 46.24 area, I'd expect us to come all the way down to, let's say, that's easy to remember. So 4,567 or so. Okay. Now I bought this dip, if you remember, I bought it at 4,521 to 31 way back when. So if it does get much below this 4,567 area, and goes all the way down here, then that's a sign to me that it's probably going to continue and get all the way down to this pink line. Now, I don't know if it'll happen all in 1 week, right? But that's sort of what I'm looking for on level by level basis. Conversely, if we can hold this 9MA, if it gaps up, if we gap up and we don't go much below sort of a gap fill area, then maybe we'll just stay in this zone here and start potentially a time correction. And then anything above 4,800 or so would be a breakout, and we'd go to this target area, what I have as my latest target. So that's sort of what I'm looking for in terms of RSI. Have we corrected enough to get rid of this divergence that I saw? I don't think so. I don't. So I think definitely we're going to head down at some point this week. But whether or not we close the week up or not really just depends on how quickly we head down. If we head down quickly on Monday and Tuesday, then potentially I could see us going back higher for the rest of the week. If we sort of start off by going up in the week, then I could see us closing down for the week, if that makes sense. I hope that makes sense. Okay, now let me look at the daily chart. Okie dokie. So on a daily basis, I have support here at 46.40. And then and you can see here on the daily, we were also saved by the MAs, right? We closed just above the 50 MA. So not bearish. It held the 50 MA so far. It's not bearish. And that'll just be the key again this week. Bulls really want to see the daily close back above the 50 MA, if at all possible, okay? If we close below the 50 MA, that probably means there's more pain ahead. Okay, so let's look at NASDAQ. Okay. So let's start off by looking at the bigger picture weekly chart. You can see, I'm not, a lot of people are like, Cordova, you have too many lines. All right, just friggin' calm yourselves down and look at the fact that we're in this channel. We've been in this upwards channel for a really long time, okay? So we're getting close to the bottom of the channel. The bottom of the channel this week is 15,396. So let's say 15,400 or so, okay? Below that, and we've got some support at this 15,209 level, but bulls, I don't know why this out Miller, let me get rid of it. But bulls really don't want it much below this 15,209 area, okay? Much below that, and we're probably going to digit this MA down here, which is approximately 14646, okay? Now, I did not have this line here last week, this bottom line, and I drew in this because potentially, I'm trying to look at all sides of the story here. Potentially, if we bounce off of this channel again, this could be sort of a miniature bull flag. Is it a perfect bull flag? No, it is not, because this flag is way too long for this pole. However, it's still a downwards channel, which means that if we bounce from it, we're going to go up. Now, yes, okay, so now, if we wanted to get another sort of point here of how important it is for the bottom of the channel to hold, what I'm going to do is I'm going to just take this line here and move it up here. And okay, see, so I just moved this previous bull flag slope up to, near the top of the flag here. And you can see that everything sort of aligns. The bottom of the big channel aligns, the bottom of this potential flag aligns, and the bottom of this other slope aligns with 15396 or 15,400. So 15,400 is super important. A close below that and a no bueno. That would be dropping out of this channel. If we drop out of this channel, then at least for the short term, the target price would be somewhere on this line, if not lower. I will calculate the exact thing if we drop out, but all the way down to the low 1400s or so, okay? And below this 50 MA. Rut-row, okay? So that's what I'm looking for in the NASDAQ weekly. Let's look at the daily. Okay. from a daily perspective, if you're looking to buy the effing dip, then potentially there is some support at 15464 on Sunday/Monday. Above this 15742, and it's going to look bullish, I think, probably up to this line here of 15888, and then above this pink line, let's see what that is. Oops, I hit the wrong button. Anyway, below, hello, I wanted to do a thing. Anyway, above that 15888 is and this is just for Sunday/Monday, 15952 or so. Above that, it's going to be a breakout. Okay, but the NASDAQ daily futures is kind of way below these MAs at this point. So this really needs to hold this area. I'll say this whole area between 15464 and I don't know why it's not letting me I don't know, but anyway, this whole area between 15464 and 15426. So that area needs to hold, or no bueno short term. Okay, all the way down here. All right, and I'll post on Twitter if I start to get superdy ooperdy bearish, but I'm a little bearish, a little bit. But you know what? Since it's going to be volatile, I'm not going to say anything. Oh, and also last week, like when I went long for a day, I didn't say anything because that's not the direction in which people should trade. I don't think. Okay. Anyway, let's look at the small caps. So this is the weekly chart, and I'm proud of myself again because I'm hitting these tops and bottoms pretty well with these lines. However, we closed really close to the bottom here. So if you are looking to buy the dip, if you think that potentially we will go up this week, we really need to hold above this 2174 area, 2174. Okay. If we start to dip below that and then get back above, then a long there might be, okay, let me take a long and then stop back out if we get back below. But this is actually looking a little bear flaggy, is it not? Yeah, kind of is. So it is possible that this week we do hit this, support line, if you will, and that is 2047.4. So if you are long-term bullish and we hit 2047.4 this week, that might be a really great opportunity to buy with an idea that maybe it might continue on down to this 1963 area, possibly. Okay. So bigger picture. Yeah. So bigger picture, it could head down into these areas just because this looks bear flaggy to me. Does it look bear flaggy to you? I think if I took this slope and put it, you know what, I'll do that. I don't want to make it too busy because people complain. Not that I care what people think too much, but yeah. So see what I mean? It kind of needs to really hold this, just squint, if you will. I'm going to get rid of this line later, but this is what the bull flag looks like in this area. Bear flag looks like in this area. So much below 2174 and rut-row, okay? So just watch out for that if you're bullish, and if you're bearish, also watch out for that below that. Yay, if you're bearish, okay? Above that, okay, yeah. Okay, so let's look at Bitcoin. Okay, so I drew a little yellow line here vertically on December 4th because that was sort of a mini flashy crashy, and what we see here is that Bitcoin is currently below that, but we did bounce off of the support. So if you are bullish, this is actually a really good time to go long, in my opinion. So right now we're at 42,126, and maybe I would have the plan to say, okay, long here, add if it gets to 41,117, and then if it gets below that, stop out here and then look to this ambulance line, which is about 35,676 or so. Okay, let me make that in here. All right, so 35,676 is the actual number, but it's in this area. Okay, but I do think this is a really good time to try long if you are bullish. Okay, then I would take some profit here at 44,300, and then once we get above the key 48,480, okay, super bullish. But that is one setup Conversely, if it gets below this 41,117 area, that would be a good short, I think, down to this ambulance line. Okay, that's the trade I would take there. Let's look at Ethereum. Okay, same thing. I highlighted December 4th, and we are below that. And here we are just trying to get back above, you know, maybe fakey, breaky, possibly. So above 3173, bullish, not really bullish, right? Because I said if it was below this green line, it was, but it's a nice trade to the upside if you're sort of a trader or if you're a long-term bull. Above 3173, bullish. And then I would use this 2960 area as a stop, or actually might add there. And then if it gets below that, I would stop out. But yeah, that's what I would do. Is I would start here if it gets above and then add. But if it gets much below here, okay, that's what I would do. But let's look at Doge, because this is interesting, right? Notice prices here, it is below December 4th. Doge, also not the most bullish chart. It's bearish looking. It's below all the MAs. However, December 4th here, we are above where we were on December 4th. That is relative strength. Now, potentially I'm reaching. It's possible because I am I am biased to be long Doge. I just think that is the crypto that has a really good chance of going mainstream. I know that's crazy, but it's true. That's a song, isn't it? Anyway, yeah, so we're actually above where we were on December 4th for Doge, where we got to, right? As opposed to both Bitcoin and Ethereum. Crazy, huh? Doge is showing relative strength on, but that said, it's really not, and we're trying to bounce off of this RSI. Let's see if we can continue that. We're trying our best. So it's really not bullish though until it gets above these MAs on the daily. And that would be the time. I actually added last week, boo me, but I'm still okay with it because I feel like either all crypto is going to poop or Doge is going to be the leader moving forward. Anywho, I will add again if we get above these MAs at any point, but we're still pretty far down. So let's see how that goes. Now let's look at GDX or gold miners. This looks like a really terrible chart if you're just tuning into this, okay? However, GDX as well as gold and silver showed relative strength on Friday. And I'm just going to erase all of these lines for a hot second. Give your eyes like a little bit of a break away from my silly sketches here. And so what I'd like to point out is this is weekly chart, okay? So if you look at this, what we have here is potentially a double bottom. And even though last week looked like crap, there is this formation that I've talked about before, sort of jokingly on Twitter, but let me just tell you what it is. I call it the bend and snap, okay? And that is after what could be a double bottom. It isn't a double bottom, by the way, until it gets above the center of this W, okay? But potentially what I've seen happen over and over again is after this second bottom, it starts to go up, everybody gets frothy, and then it does what I call a bend, and it gets low here, but so if it gets into this area of if GDX gets into this area of 29.25 or so, then any lower than that, and it's going to look like it's going to go lower, okay? Because gravity will pull it down. What a bend and snap is it's a move to get all of the bulls out of it without actually getting below here. So it doesn't want to get into the gravitational force that you will get to if we get too close to it. So it's basically as low as you can go without getting into the gravitational force that will take us below this double bottom, and then we go higher. So the question is whether or not this is a bend and snap. So far, it looks like it's a classic bend and snap. So the key will be overall for bulls is not to get much below this, let's just call it 29 area. Below 29, it's probably going to go much lower here, okay? Because we've lost the support of these MAs, all right? So that's what I'm looking for to hold in the coming week, this week and the week after, etc. Now, let me put my beautiful lines back on. Okay. So that said, also, we managed to close above this channel line. Yay. So for next week, in terms of strength, and not just the lowest it can go, if it stays above 29.64, yay. But we really need to get back above this 30.85 area, which is also sort of this channel-y type thing. And then above the key, it's going to look more bullish. But again, we're still below these MAs. But I believe we have a shot, and I believe that GDX, even if this isn't the bottom and it goes lower than this, I do believe as long as we hold the bend and the snap, this area, this 29 area, that we're going to get all the way to this 33.2 area. Yep, I think so. Okay. Because usually it will get then back up here. It'll look like it's going to take out, everybody will start talking about the double bottom, and then it'll start to either chop or do whatever. But that's what I'm looking for. I'm looking for that to hold. Okay. Just to prove to myself I'm not wrong, bigger picture. Now, gold. Oh boy. Oh, future started already. It looks like it started down a little bit. And yeah, it sort of gapped down and went a little bit down. So, from a weekly perspective, this is the weekly area. We're not bullish until we're back above this 1811 area, okay? But short term, 1797, or let's call it the 1800 area, is really what bulls want to hold. So for now, geez, look at that. Right out of the gate, we came down, back tested the 50 MA, and then what we need to do is get back above this 20, back above this 1800 area, and then go. Okay, so that's what's happening so far. And I was just going to show you that I was looking at this, and potentially I'm like, wait, is this a bear flag? It's possible. It is possible. What makes me think it's not is, and it could be though, is that when we look at the silver chart, I'll show you. But anyway, below 1788, and it is going to look like it was a bear flag on the 4-hour, and probably going to go lower. Okay, so that's what I'm looking at there. And then above this 1798 area, same thing, same line basically, right? Above this, it's going to start to look more bullish. But so far, so good. Not upset that we started down here, because I think we need to have a little bottom push, and I prefer that to always happen on Mondays, just to get the week off to a good start. Okay, let's look at silver. Okay, so this is the silver weekly chart over on this side. And let me put this down here, because this is going to be the weekly pivot we're looking at. Okay, so above 22.41, and I think we have a shot. Okay, but we are below all these MAs, so 22.41, it'll start to look not completely unfortunate. Okay, and then on the 4-hour, same thing here. Oh, yeah. Okay, where's my price? Why aren't my price markers showing up there? Let me see. Oops. There we go. Price label. Okay. All right, so on the 4-hour, we just bounced off of this 22.33, it looks like, right? Let me see what the low was. Yeah, oh my God, oh my goodness, dude, look at my freaky lines. Can we just talk about that for a hot second? That's really amazing. That's very impressive. Good for me. Anyway, so far we have bounced off of this 22.33 in the smaller time frame. I might, when I log off of here, take long on it, and then maybe try to get out below that. But it looks to me like these MAs are starting to curl up. This does not look like a bear flag to me, because it's too crickety. This is too much of a momentum for me to think it's a bear flag. Sorry, I don't know what I'm talking about. Anyway, but that's what I'm looking for. I'm looking for it to hold this 22.33 if it can. Yay. All right. But yeah, above this 22.41, and it's much better from a bigger weekly perspective. Okay. Otherwise, if this is a bear flag, if this is like a bear sandwichy type thing, which I don't think it is, but it's possible. If it doesn't get back above this 22.41, that would be bearish short term. Okay. Okay. Let's look at oil. Okay, so last week I didn't really have any kind of strong opinion on oil, but can we just talk about oil stocks? Holy crap. Okay, XOP or XOP weekly, which is like a basket of oil and gas stocks, outperformed the indices super much. So that to me is an indicator that this is potentially, that oil is potentially bullish short term. Now, it doesn't mean it goes up in a straight line, but to me, it looks like it might. Okay, so anyway, if you are bullish and you want to try and take a long here, the areas that I'd be looking to do that would be 78.22 and 76.95. Okay. But it'd be, we're above the 20 MA, we're above the 50, we're above the 9, we're above all of these things. So those are the two areas I would look to buy, but I wouldn't necessarily worry too much about it unless we got below the 72.52. And I know that's a big, huge range, but that's sort of weekly. Weekly's not always, the best in terms of just trading futures and whatnot. But overall, big picture, I do think we're going to head up to this 89.23 area before we make a decision of whether or not we'll go higher than that. I think so, just based on the bullishness of XOP. And XOP would need to hold this 100.43, but so far it broke down from the channel, but then with a fakey breaky, and generally speaking, that is quite bullish, and look what happened. But just this week, if I were a bull, I would want it to hold 100.43 to sort of continue that momentum up, but it's not bearish until it's below 95.61 this week. Looks really good to me. The RSI has been reset, and it looks really good. Okay, let's look at Nate. Okay, so last week, yay. Okay, so last week we talked about Natty being bullish, and it was. And then so far, it looks like we have gapped up here. Yippity skippity. That is good news for moi. Okay, so above this 4.184, and yay, that is, I think, bullish short term, but that is sort of the resistance that I'm looking at for now. Wow. A plus. Holy crap. A plus. Okay, so below 4.184, bullish, and it might come back down here and close this gap or whatnot. So my markers are actually in the way. I was like, I couldn't see it on the weekly. I was like, why is it not showing up? But on the weekly, we have support at 4.075 or so. I didn't put that in the perfect place, but, and then this area is on the weekly, 4.04 to 4.07 is support. And then above this robot line on the daily, 4.184, super bullish. Okay, so down here, buy. Okay, or even here, but I mean, yeah. Oh, yay. Okay, yay, bullish. Okay, let's look at coffee. I'm mad at myself because when it gapped down here, I was like, oh, I'll just wait until it hits the bottom of this channel, and it didn't hit the bottom of this channel. So I missed the bottom buy potentially in coffee this past week. But let me just review this. Let me just say it one more time for the people in the back of the internet. This is bullish. This is a super bullish chart. Let me get rid of all my pictures so you can see. This is what's called bullish. Okay. Yeah, bullish. And my price target for Joe remains 77.07 if it can get above this channel line. But buy dips, and don't even, you don't have to be like me and greedy and silly and try to wait for the lowest of lows just to scale in here at any time with the plan to add if it goes any lower. I just feel coffee is super bullish. I'm super bullish coffee. However, there is some RSI resistance coming up here, so potentially I hope this week that we might see a little bit of a pullback here. If we gap up, then that goes away, and bye. But at any rate, this is just something I'm going to scale into, and I don't worry too much about anything because this is bullish. Okay, above here, above 68.27, super bullish. Down here, bullish. It's just bullish. Okay, these lines are And actually this, if we do get to 59.11 this week, oh my God, I love it. Oh my God, I love it. Because that actually aligns with the 20 MA. Look at this 20 MA just super along the bottom of my channel here. But will it ever do, whenever something's bullish and you try to wait for the perfect time to scale in, it's like it never happens. Like, because everybody's waiting for that time. Everybody has the same idea. They're like, oh, yeah, that's bullish, buy that, you know? It's, so that just means it's not going to happen if everybody wants to do it. And I think everybody wants to do it for coffee. Don't know for sure, but that's my thought. Okay, anyway, okay.